Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, let's pull up this screen here. Oh, the Jimbo press meltdown. He didn't appreciate some of the questions that he got. And then a few days later, Lane Kiffin decided to chime in. Now, I watched this press conference when it occurred a few days ago, and I was going to cover it, but there was a lot going on with the Vols and all that, and I just wasn't really in the mood.
Now, you listen to me. I want details, and I want them right now. You're not in the mood? Well, you get in the mood!
Well, I've changed my mind about that because Lane jumped in, our boy Lane Kiffin, and he trolled him pretty good. And, of course, you folks know I like trolling. So I figured, you know what, if Lane's going to get involved in this, I might as well cover it too. Now, if you know anything about Jimbo, you know, he had that really bad year last year. I think they went 5-7, losing record. And, of course, this is coming off. He had signed some huge extension of over $10 million a year for like 100 years. It's over $100 million is the contract, and people in Texas are not happy, especially coming off a losing season. And, of course, in order to sort of quell the anger, he hired Bobby Petrino, who used to be Arkansas's head coach. They went to Louisville, et cetera. And he's known for having a good offensive mind, you know, some 15 years ago, before he had his little motorcycle accident. I think many of y'all remember that. But Arkansas was really good when he was there as head coach. So anyway, Jimbo has hired him as offensive coordinator. Now, I don't think Jimbo wanted to hire him. I think he kind of had to. And you can tell in the press conference, he did not want anything to do with those questions. And he was a little bit miffed, to say the least. And we're going to cover that a little bit. Then we'll get into Lane Kiffin trolling. And we're going to talk about this because Jimbo is an interesting character. And I'm going to tell you what, he doesn't like being questioned about much of anything. And you'll see that.
Jimbo, how much difference will there be in the offense, and how much control?
We ain't worried about. Here's what we're doing.
How much control does Bobby have?
We're running our thing. We're going to be base fundamentals. We ain't getting into scheme. We ain't getting into anything. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to practice. What we're going to do on a daily basis. What we put in that day, and then we'll be base fundamentals. How you execute your scheme is what's about fundamentals.
Front row on the right.
What went into the process of bringing Bobby Petrino on board?
Well, that was a guy we wanted to hire. A guy I've known.
Previous relationship with him as well.
I've known him a long time. We've had great respect for each other, and when we talked, we thought it would be, after meeting and talking to him, we thought it would be a very good fit for what we're trying to do and the things that we believe in and what goes on.
Right side, David.
Jimbo Nice talked about setting an example and having a certain level of excellence when he goes to every practice. Just talk about that, especially in light of how last season went.
That's what it's about. That's what any sport's about. That's what anything is about.
Jimbo, what is it about Bobby philosophically that you like about because of what he's done in the past and what he brings to this program?
Yeah, I mean, Bobby's an experienced guy who's called plays and done a great job, and he's got a really good foundation and fundamentals of football, which have great balance, whether it's running the ball, throwing the ball, and has been able to be very productive in the things he's been able to do.
How would you describe similarities and differences between you two philosophically?
We ain't got enough hours on day to do all that. But at the end of the day, we believe in one thing: execution. So at the end of the day, that's what it's about. An overroute's an overroute, a dig's a dig. How you get there, what you do, and we get so caught up in it's not scheme, it's execution, and then that goes back to how do you execute? Fundamentals, alignment, assignment, technique. No matter what you do, and if you want to know technicals, if you go watch everybody in the country, everybody does the same thing. Go watch a film. You sit down and watch a film. There's not a hill of beans between anybody. As far as what goes on, what routes are, what plays are, it's a counter is a counter, a dig and a post is a dig and a post. Verticals are verticals. I mean, it's all the same. It gets back to execution and fundamentals.
Front row right, Travis.
You know, there were reports initially you were interested in Bobby, and then he took the job at UNLV. What made you go back to pursuing him and wanting him for that position?
I didn't go back. I never left.
What was it about him that made you want him to pull him from UNLV from already having
same thing I did when I was talking to him in Missouri. I just never made a decision until then.
All right, yeah, you can tell he was not liking those questions about Bobby Petrino, and I don't think he wanted to bring anybody in. Look, he's known as an offensive guy. He basically calls his own plays and has forever, and he's sitting there. He's got his national title, which, you know, at Florida State, so he doesn't want to hear anything from anybody, but he obviously had to hire somebody, and he's not happy about being questioned about it. Now, it just so happens I do have a person that wants to come on the show. Now, they will not tell me who they are. All I know is that they are associated with Texas A&M on some level. Now, I have my suspicions of who it might be. I think he wants to talk, but I don't know if I want to say. But anyway, he is linked. Is he linked? He is linked for sure. Okay. Well, this is somebody associated with Texas A&M that wants to talk about this and is very connected to it and has something to say. So let's see what he has to say, and I'll ask him a couple questions here. Well, all right. Now, I appreciate you coming on the show. Now, like I say, we don't know exactly who you are. I know you're associated with the A&M program. I don't know if you're a coach, an assistant grad, if you're a donor. I have my suspicions of who you are. But look, what did you want to tell us about what's going on with Texas A&M and Jimbo and Bobby Petrino? It looks to me like things are probably a little bit, I don't want to use the word toxic, but are probably a little bit uncomfortable, to say the least. And I'm wondering how Bobby's getting treated over there. And also, how are things going, getting those two guys together and working together? What's that really like?
Well, hello there, Sports Talk Jay. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about this Texas A&M, Bobby Petrino, and all of that. Yeah, it's getting a little rough over here. To say Jimbo's not happy would be an understatement. It's not real easy working over here. This is a guy, I've been working hard. I mean, he's been working hard for a really long time in coaching. This is an opportunity for him to come back, he feels like. And, it doesn't look like he's going to be calling the plays. Maybe he'll start out calling the plays and, he's a guy that's been calling plays for a long time. But if things don't go well right away, I feel like it's probably not going to work out for him here long term. We'll see what happens, but it's not been exactly what I think he thought it would be. And, it's just very uncomfortable, to say the least. But I can tell you this, Bobby's a hard-working guy, and he's trying to get things squared away and help this team and doing everything that he can. And, hopefully he can help get this offense turned around and find himself a great job out there. If anybody's out there looking for a head coach, I happen to know that Bobby would be very interested. And hopefully after a year here, people will see that and they'll be hiring me. I mean, they're going to be hiring him right away and get him out of this mess. Anyway, that's really all I had to say about this whole Texas A&M situation. Thanks for having me on, though, Sports Talk Jay. I appreciate it.
Well, all right there, incognito guy. I appreciate you coming on and give us a little insight into the Texas A&M situation. Looks like things are not real comfortable there for Mr. Petrino. I'm not sure who you are, but I have my suspicions. So, needless to say, I wish you the best, and I hope you have a good season, except when you play the Vols. And now we're going to get into Lane Kiffin's troll because, look, everybody knows that Lane likes to put a few lines out there, especially when he sees a team struggling with something. He loves to troll and get out his fishing boat. And here Lane says, everybody runs the same plays, 4 question marks in a row. It's only about the players executing. And then it says, at Kirby Smart, FYI. And when you hear him say it's about execution, it almost sounds like he's saying, hey, it's not my fault. How is it my fault that we're not winning? I'm calling the good plays, and they're just not executing, And maybe he's saying it's on me to get them to execute. But when you hear a coach talk about it's about execution, maybe it's about the coaching. You had all those 5 stars. Doesn't look like you were handling them too well. But, look, I'm not a head coach. I'm not going to sit here and rip the guy too much. But I find that pretty interesting. And I knew Lane would have something to say at some point because, he probably, what he's thinking? He's thinking, God, there's a lot of good players over there, a lot of 5 stars. I wonder if they'd like to come to Ole Miss, where I'm not going to blame them for execution. Anyway, sounds to me like Jimbo is kind of let the game pass him by a little bit, and he's angry about it. Now, look, this guy's got $90 million lined up if they let him go, so I don't think he cares. He's like, I'm going to do it my way. Yeah, I brought in Bobby Petrino. I'm going to let him coach some, but if it doesn't go well right away, I'll just take back over the reins, and I'll go out on my own terms. I'll either stay on my own terms or I'll go out on my own terms with $90 million, which that's a pretty good option. Look, Texas A&M doesn't have a lot of leverage on this guy. When you owe somebody that amount of money, if you let them go, they're going to probably do what they want. You know, that's part of the problem of signing a 10-year deal is you'd better be darn sure that he's the right guy for the job. And Jimbo, I think, is a pretty good coach, but it feels like he's letting the football world pass him by, and that's something Nick Saban never did. You know, Nick, even though he cries and complains like a school kid, you know, about things being done that he doesn't like, whether it's fast-paced play or having to play a tough schedule, etc., at least he changes with the times for the most part. Jimbo, not so much. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's be able to continue to cover the Vols and all of that. Just thought this would be fun to cover. And if you've not subscribed, it's right here on the left. Just hit that little button. Costs you nothing. Helps me out. I'd appreciate it. And right over here is my most recent video. Be sure to check that out. And we will see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.